Hello, artists. This is a two-part video. The first part is going to be a follow-along, and then the second part will be you finishing this project up on your own. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with me, and then there'll come a point where I will say, now you keep going, and then you can pause the video and you can work on it on your own before watching the end of the video. So for the first part, for the follow-along, you are going to need some paper. You're going to need a pencil and eraser. And this project we're going to do with markers. Now, if you don't have markers, you can use colored pencils or you can use crayons, but you really do need color for this one. So we're going to start off with pencil and paper. And you're going to begin by connecting two corners of the paper. We're going to draw a line. This does not have to be a straight line. In fact, it's a little bit better if it's not perfect. So you're going to go from one corner to the other. Don't worry about making it perfect. Now we're going to do same thing, one to the next, crisscross, right there. So now my X is not in the middle. That is okay. It actually works better if it's not perfect. And now what you're going to do is connect the top to the bottom, but make sure you go through the middle. Don't let it go to the side. So you do not want to do this. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure to go right through the middle. So I'm going to aim for my middle and then keep going. And I'm going to do the same thing going across. Try to aim right for the middle. There we go. So now we have our paper split apart into 8 different sections. So you're going to start with one section first. It doesn't really matter which one, but you're going to pick one section to start with. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw some curving stripes, and it should look kind of like this. Start near the middle, and you're going to make a little rainbow shape. And then you're going to keep going all the way up. So leave a little space, and again, and again. And you're going to keep going all the way up. And if you can fill it in on one side, but there's no room on the other, that's okay. We'll just finish off on that side. Now the next step is we're going to go into the 2 spaces next to this. And we're going to do some curving lines again. But the line is going to curve a different way. So where this curve was over like a rainbow, the next curve is going to be like a letter U. So we're going to start in the same spot and go letter U. And we're going to do the same thing in the one next to it. So this is a curve going over, and these two are going letter U. So then we go to the next 2 spots, same thing. Curve it under, and we're going to keep working all the way up. Curve it under, curve it under. Now, if this feels like it's too difficult, one thing you can do is you can turn your paper so that when you draw your curve, now you're drawing an over again. So like now this one has switched. I sometimes find it easier to do a curve going over than under. But if you like it this way, either way is fine. And I'm going to keep going all the way till I run out of room. And then the same on the other side. Curve, curve. Now, I don't have any more on this side, but see how we still have some space on the top here? I'm going to go up a little ways, and I'm going to make one more curve, just to help fill in that space a little bit. Now we go to the next ones, and you probably guessed it, you're going to do another curve. This one's going to be the over curve again. So we're switching it up each time. So this one is over, this one is over. And then we keep going, always starting where the other line stopped. So this line stopped here, over. almost went off the page, and a last one. And just enough room for a little bit. You see where we're going with this? So the next group is going to be curving toward the center again. So toward the center, to the middle, again, and again, and again we have a big space here, so let's add one more. Then we'll do the same on the other side. Towards the middle, That one's going to go off the page, and off the page. And then we get to our very last spot, and that's going away from the middle. So it's going away. And then we run out of room on this side, but this side we're gonna finish up with a few more. So already we have this really cool wavy kind of design. Now the next step is going to be with the coloring. So I'm going to pick two colors to start with. I'm gonna start with red and orange, but you can pick whatever two colors you want. What you're going to do is start in one section. So I'm going to use this section up here, and I'm going to color in a line right above that. I'm going to color this whole little section in. Then I'm going to skip and color the next section. Now, if your sections are pretty small, that's okay. This can actually look better with smaller sections. It kind of makes it a little more detailed. So you can see colored pencils can work here, but marker can be nice because you can fill it in a little bit faster. Try to make sure you are filling each section in really solid, okay? No little white spots showing. Hide those little white spots. Now I'm getting to the edge of my paper. If you've ever colored with markers before, you probably know that when you get to the edge of the paper, it's really hard to get all the way to the edge of the paper and not get it on your table. So I'm gonna teach you a trick. Get a piece of scrap paper. It can be anything, something that you used before, and you're going to tuck it underneath your paper. That way, when you color by that edge, you can get right to the edge and not get anything on your table. Now remember with markers, the way that a marker works is all the color is all up in here. And as you start using it, the color will start to move down toward the tip of the marker. If you color too fast, like if you scribble really fast, it can get scratchy. That's because it doesn't have enough time for the marker fluid to go down toward the bottom. So if you're kind of coloring quickly, you might get this not so nice looking later scratching. So make sure that you are taking your time and filling it in really nice and neat. Beautiful. Done with that one. I'm going to get my second color, and I'm going to fill in the other spaces. And again, do your best to try and fill it all the way in so you don't have any white spaces showing. Make sure that your colors are not too close to being exactly the same. That way you can definitely see the difference between one and the other. Now you notice sometimes when I color, I turn my paper a lot. When I'm doing my own artwork at home, I turn things all the time so I can find the easiest way of filling it in. So don't be afraid to turn your paper sometimes. And the last little section, let's get my scrap paper underneath. And this last little corner. There we go. So you probably can figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of this. We're going to keep on coloring each section with 2 colors. So I'm going to do 2 colors in this section, 2 colors in this section, and I'm going to go all the way around. Now, at this point, if you want, you can pause the video and keep working on it. I'm going to keep working on mine too, but I'm going to speed it up for you guys so you don't have to sit through watching the entire thing, okay? Make sure though that when you choose colors, if you choose 2 colors, like if I decide I want to do orange again in the new section, I'm not lining it up. I do not want my colors to line up with each other. So if my next section I'm going to do yellow and orange, I'm going to use orange in the section that does not connect to the other orange section. So instead that will be my yellow. Okay, so you might think that you'd want them to match, but you don't want them to match. Make them separate. It'll make the whole thing look much better. Okay, I'm going to keep going and you're going to keep going, and then I'll show you what to do when we get all the way to the end. And there we have the last of it. Ta-da! Now, you might notice that your paper might start curling a little bit. That's because markers, being mostly liquid, cause paper to kind of stretch a little bit in places and bend, and it might cause your paper to start to curl. So a good thing to do is after you finish with doing all of the markers is to get something heavy, maybe even flip your paper over and put like a heavy book on top of it and let it sit there while it's drying, and that will help keep it from curling up like this. So just a little pro tip for you, but that would be that. Make sure that you write your name in a corner. Pick an area that has maybe a color that's a little bit easier to see. We'll put my name right up here. Ta-da! So that I can see it when you take your picture, okay? And that's it for this one. I hope it comes out good, and I can't wait to see them. And I have some more exciting stuff to show you with markers in the next video. So I'll see you then.